So excited to be here. And Miss Elisa Collins, she is one of our graduate L&C nurses from our Legal Nurse Accelerator program. I'm super excited to have you here. And before we get started, guys, I just want to make sure everyone knows we're going to be live every single week. Sometimes we'll have student interviews, sometimes alumni interviews, guest speakers we have coming up. So lots of new great things coming your way this brand new year. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. And with that being said, I want to let Elisa introduce herself to everyone. Everyone say hi and make sure you give us a thumbs up so we know you can hear us.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Elisa Collins. My company is Discovery NP Legal Consultants, and I'm an alumni of Stephanie's program, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And what I love about this is when you and I first met, which was actually months before the program, we hit it off. We hit it off really well. And Elisa had, she just wanted a big business like me. And I loved her energy and her enthusiasm. And we just knew we worked so well together. So when you joined the program, it was uber exciting for me to be able to share the knowledge that we have and to see your business grow. How does it feel having come as far as you have in your business? How does it feel?
It feels amazing. I'm really proud of the progress that we've made, and I'm even more excited about the progress that we have ahead of us.
I know. I love that. You and I were talking yesterday, and you had mentioned, seeing us where we are now, but knowing what's coming in the future is even more exciting. And I just want to touch base on that for a quick second, because we'll roll right into something else. You and I had talked, we teach this inside of our mentorship about projecting your business and projecting so that you can plan for those quarters and those months ahead. And so you making that comment to me made me super excited, because Elisa is very, very business savvy, but then also to know what's coming, right? To be able to project your business, to see the sustainability and the growth. How does that, you said that makes you excited. Share with the other nurses like a tidbit about why that's so important.
It is really exciting, especially once you have seen growth behind you and kind of see that trajectory, and then you get it. It's like when you're first looking out at it and there hasn't been a whole lot that's happened behind you. You don't even know how to figure out what that projection might look like. And you might overshoot, you might undershoot when you think about what the possibilities are. I think it was Bill Gates said that people often overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Yeah. I love that. It's so true. When I looked at my projections, I had huge goals and dreams, and I didn't hit every single one of them. But looking back, it's like, I'm more sure now that I can be where I want to be in 10 years than I was back then, because I have seen some real growth, and it feels more realistic now.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, hindsight's always 20/20. We all like to say that, right? Once you experience it, once you get out of the comfort zone, like you said, you have something to look at behind you, something to reflect on. It makes it a little bit easier. Well, we're excited to share because we popped one of your quotes. We share our wins inside of our group, and you were one of the ones who shared your win. How cool was it to have a 10K week and a $6,000 day? You shot out a bunch of invoices and was able to collect a lot of income from your clients. How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't intend to necessarily send all those invoices at once, but when I did, the energy that came back, like it was like a waterfall. And I didn't, for some reason, in my past, I'd been stuck in my head thinking that like people were going to disappoint me. People were, I had all the beliefs. And this is what I think the mentorship helped me with more than anything else, was breaking through some of these beliefs. And it's an ongoing journey. It's not like, okay, check, I broke through those beliefs, I'm good. Because this was after I was done with the mentorship that this happened. Yeah. But that I was struggling with some beliefs, and I had sort of an epiphany, and I realized I'm just going to go ahead and do XYZ and allow the flow of positive energy to come back to me. And so I did that. And it was just amazing that once I broke through that specific belief that I was dealing with that week, how the abundance just flowed that particular week. And I was able to go out and invoice the attorneys that I had been holding back on in my own head. It was just my own head. And that's what I just love about the mentorship, is because it gave, sorry about my alarm there. It gave me the tools to address some of those issues on my own. I had the resources to notice when a belief was stopping me, and to
Mhm.
say, wait, this is irrational. It's when I speak it out loud, I'm realizing this isn't really even true. And it's not true that my attorneys are going to stand me up and they're not going to pay me and everything. So once I cleared that and then I sent out the invoices, sure enough, all the money just started pouring in. So
I love that you say that. It makes me so happy and so excited that you said that this was after the mentorship. And that's one of the things you love, because I think that's overlooked. We're all nurses and we are all very independent, but so overlooked is the realization that we all have limiting beliefs. And just what you said is to be able to know how to do that on your own. We don't like to create dependency inside of our mentorship. We really like the independence of it. We want you to be able to take the tools and the lessons and things that we teach you. So like you do, to do exactly what you did, to recognize it and notice it, and then to be able to act on it yourself, because that's only going to allow you to continue to grow in your business for your future and for your perfect day. I'm so excited that you brought that up. Like, that makes me so happy, because I don't know how much Natalie and I are always like, man, we have so many tools and resources. And sometimes we just wonder, are they using them? And to hear you say that, I know Natalie's just like glowing and gleaming right now listening into this, because it makes us so proud to know that, you know, we use those tools too. I want to touch base too on what you said just a bit ago, when you said that it's not like check the box and we're done, right? Like, we have limiting beliefs and we level up, right? We recognize them, notice them. What would you say has been the most challenging thing that you felt you've revisited over and over and over? Maybe like a limiting belief. I know, you know, one of mine has always been like deserving of money and income. And that's something that every time I level up, I feel like I have to revisit this in my world. It's just like another level of discomfort I have to get comfortable with. What would you say, you know, and like you had said, it's not a check the box, like you level up and it comes back, right? Like, I recognize it again, but I'm like, dang it, why? I thought I dealt with this. So what is maybe one you would like to share with the group, a group of nurses listening in, that, you know, something that you've revisited but have been able to notice to help break through to grow?
that's a really vulnerable question.
It is.
I know which beliefs come back, and you know, the monsters on my shoulder that are just like, oh, there it is again, you know. And I think, like I said, having, even just being in a group like this has made me begin to be aware of that, because I think there's a lack of awareness before you get into this kind of environment. But I will say that when I first started out, I really struggled with believing that I was worth a certain dollar amount, and I was able to kind of identify some of the originating events in my life. Maybe not the very first one, you know, because Natalie can help kind of walk you back to kind of where did that belief start? When's the first time you remember feeling that way? And I remember there was a time when I'm a nurse practitioner, by the way. I had an attorney tell me, I asked for a raise after working for him for a year. I thought, oh, it's about time to ask for a raise. I mean, it was my first year as a nurse practitioner, second year, I guess. And I was like, it's time to ask for a raise. And so I just like did it, send him the email, click send, and I get an email back a couple days later, and he's basically said, no, you're not getting a raise, and don't ever ask again, because you'll never be worth more than, I mean, not in these words, but this is what I heard. This is what I remember. I remember the feeling, him telling me, don't ever ask again. He was a nice doctor too, but what I heard was, don't ever ask again. You'll never be worth more than $55 an hour as a nurse practitioner. And that, it wasn't until the mentorship, you know, with, I don't know if it was with Natalie or just because of the skills that she gave me to go back and revisit it, but where I recognized that as a pivotal sort of thing in my life. And so this believing that I wasn't worth a certain dollar amount, I remember even just a year and a half ago, when the very first time I asked an attorney for $100 an hour, and I did it by asking for a flat fee for a service that I knew would take me a certain number of hours. And so by doing that, I was kind of sneakily asking for $100 an hour. And I was like hyperventilating, because I couldn't believe that that he said yes. And I was like, but he doesn't know it's only going to take me this many hours. So anyway, I remember that, and I kept coming back to that. And I'm happy to say that even though that was a recurring thing after I thought I dealt with it over and over again, because I thought I dealt with it then, but I clearly hadn't, I truly feel I have now. And so I think there is hope on the other end of that. I hear you saying that like there's things that will come back up over and over again, but I actually think you can break through those, and it may take several times. And that is one that I have been able to break through. Like
I love that.
I have no qualms about saying what our rates are now.
Oh, I
And
love that.
they're much more than 100.
Oh yes, much more. I know everyone in our mentorship charges a minimum of $150 an hour, and Elisa and her team actually charge more than that. I will share that with you guys, but that's amazing to hear that you can break through some of those. And I do think that I like you sharing that story. There's both sides of it, right? There's both sides of those beliefs, and that's so much part of our mentorship is that transformation of going from employee mindset, what we think we're worth, what we're told we're worth, what we're told we're valued at, the culture that has shaped us into thinking that we are this, to growing ourselves into standing in our power to know that we are worth more, can have more, can be more than what we've been told. So I really like you sharing that story. And every time you tell it, and every time we talk about that, I enjoy hearing it, because I actually remember conversating with you the first time you told me how much you were charging for a case. And I was like, no, 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 no. And you were like, you know what I mean? You were like, what do you, I was like, no, you're a nurse practitioner. You have to charge so much more. So I remember having a conversation with you, and I love hearing that, because your business is doing amazing. You guys are growing month over month. You told me yesterday, month over month growth, and you can see it in your projection month over month. So that's really, really awesome. What's your most favorite part about the mentorship? If you could share it with everyone here listening in, what was your favorite thing about the mentorship?
I hate to beat a dead horse, but I joined the mentorship specifically because of the mindset piece. That's what attracted me to it. I was already sort of in that world before I came across Stephanie. And I actually, this is funny, and I think I've told you this before, I kind of wanted to be you before I met you. I didn't know that there was a program like yours that had that emphasis. I actually have a master's degree in psychology with an emphasis in life coaching. And I wanted to be a life coach, but I also wanted to kind of start doing this, a business / life coach. And I also wanted to do, legal nurse consulting. Ultimately, I was like, there's nobody out there that's doing that. And then I found Stephanie. I was like, oh, thank goodness she's got that covered. And so I put all my full energy into my business of legal nurse consulting. And I've fully made the shift now. I use coaching and mentorship with my subs all the time. And that fills me, that fills my cup for the need to do that. But I've been in this world of personal development since long before I met you. And that's what attracted me to your program specifically, because I didn't see, and I did a lot of homework, by the way. I think there's some people in this group that I've actually shared my homework with. I had a spreadsheeter, and I had a spreadsheet of I have one, I still do, of all the people and all of their advantages and disadvantages and prices. And I had all that listed out. And to me, the one that stood out the most was Stephanie, because the mindset piece was so valuable to me. And so I just dove in as soon as I could, as soon as I was able to, I found a way to scrape up the funds and jumped in with both feet. And it's been, the best thing, because, those other programs, they can teach you the tactics, they can teach you even the marketing skills and the, and those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, we're kind of hardwired or programmed as nurses to be W-2s, to sit back and just not do all of the entrepreneurial things. And it's a hardwire. You can learn how to do it, but at the end of the day, sitting there, sorry, my alarm keeps going off. You're sitting there trying to get off the chair and do something, but there's something stopping you. And if you never address it, from that angle, you're just never going to make any progress. And so having Natalie and the resources and her, teaching you how to fish rather than just giving you a fish, but teaching you how to take care of yourself internally is priceless. You can't put a price on that. And I've been in the coaching world for a long enough time, both as a coach and hiring coaches, to understand the value of that industry and that paradigm of what that investment is and why it's worth it.
I love it. I love it. Cause we do really pride ourselves on having that piece. I felt like that was a huge part that was missing. I shared that story with everyone when I got my mentor, and the homework she gave me and the mindset shift I went through. And I just feel like what a lot of our nurses realize coming into the program is, like you had said, everyone, we have the 4 pillars. Everyone's really gung-ho about the tactical legal nursing and the business growth, right? But we also have the personal growth and the intentional transformation. And just like you said, without putting intention behind it, without making purposeful effort to say that I want to be, a very productive, wealthy, happy business owner, someone who controls my business, not an employee, without putting that intention behind it, you sit there and wonder, how do I make this happen? Or why is my business falling apart when it was doing so good? And so much of it resides in our subconscious, we don't realize. What about the business growth aspect and some of those other tools that we share with you guys in the program? Is there anything that you love that stands out that you want to share with anyone that's on the call?
I mean, I felt like the marketing piece was really helpful, and I learned a lot about shifting the paradigm of what's required as far as follow-up. The fruit is in the follow-up. I've had people tell me, I don't understand. I email 3 attorneys a day. How come I don't have any business? And I'm like, honey, you got to email like 30, 40 or message 30, 40 people a day. And I realized that sounds really unrealistic if you haven't figured it out. So that the key is to find a system that allows you to do it in a very efficient way. And so whatever that looks like for you, whether you do it at the same time every day, or just whatever pieces you have to put into that, but you have to have a system. You can't just randomly sometimes decide to do it and sometimes not do it. A system
Right.
to reach out quantity wise, but also to follow up. So it's like you're reaching out to a lot of people and you're following up with them a lot of times. And so, you need to find a system to do that. And I feel like Stephanie's program gave me some real insight and ideas as to how to build a system that was going to work for me.
Yes, because we have a system, we have a process, and we map it out. Really, it's really clear for everyone. And then it's really about taking that, just like you said, and making it work for your business, for the size business, the future of the business that you want, finding that alignment to know like this process will work. And we also, you do our 6-figure income projection. So at the end of the mentorship, everyone gets a call like this with me, and we do our 6-figure income projection. And that's where we really hammer out the numbers. And do you remember when we were doing that, we were like really just kind of hammering out case values and conversion times and things like that. I get a lot of nurses wowed just by the simplicity of that and being able to take that away to project in their business. You're very business savvy. So you are already well aware of a lot of that stuff. But is there anything else that you think that anyone else on the call would love to hear about the mentorship? Maybe being a part of our networking group and our VIP group, because we have so many nurses in that group. And even now, sharing your wins, right? You had mentioned like you've been graduated from the mentorship, but to still be able to be a part of that community.
Yeah.
How does that benefit you? How does that benefit other nurses?
I appreciate the networking. I appreciate the fact that the people in the group can relate to what I'm going through. And I know even just yesterday, I had to reschedule a call with you because I got in a call booked with an attorney, and I was like, understand. And you're like, totally correct. So it's been great. But I also wanted to mention too, one thing that I've learned about the projections is that you can't expect a slope like this necessarily. It's going to be more actually exponential, because and that's what I'm looking forward to, is that, upward steep explosion that will come if you do this right, because you've got referrals that come in, you've got repeat business, and you've got reviews that people submit. And all those things that those things build on each other. And so you get more business from the more business, and it becomes an exponential thing. And so not to get discouraged if you feel like your growth is really, really slow. It's not a linear slope if you do this right. And that's a paradigm shift that I had to have as well. So I hope that statement wasn't out of place, but it was just on my mind.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's why the projection really helps a lot of nurses, because when you start the program, you're like 1 case, 2 cases, some get 3, some get 4, some get 5, but then they're like, but it doesn't seem like that much until you do the projection to see, like we were talking about, the business that creates the business, the referrals that bring in more business, repeat business. And then you really start to see the compound effect of what you're doing right now and how that grows your business in the future. And the future isn't that far away. We like to think, oh my gosh, a year from now, but then a year from now, we look back and go, wow, it was only a year. You know, it's very interesting how our perspective shifts so much of that energy. But there's a lot of power in knowing if I can do something right now and expect to reap a reward 5-6 weeks from now, I'm going to be more apt to put time and energy into it, knowing what's to come. But also, not being in the mentorship, but still having all those connections with the network. And like you said, the experience and knowing that they've been through some of the things that you've gone through, and you've been through things that newer nurses are going through, that network and that community. How, like, share with them the importance of that and why you like having that community and having that access.
So many reasons. Like I said, the practical reasons of the networking for you know, the clinical areas that I'm not familiar with and everything, but also I think there's inspiration in a group like this, because so there's two ways to look at it. You can look at what other people are doing. You can look at someone like mine or something like that, and you can say, oh, I'll never be able to be successful because she's already doing it all, or I remember that mentality being like, oh, so and so's already doing it, therefore. In fact, that's the first thing I'm not going to go there, but I very much remember feeling like, oh, I can't be successful because there's already people successful. Like, how irrational is that thought? And if you allow yourself to have a mindset shift in combination with being a part of a community like this, it's actually inspiring. It's the opposite of discouraging, because you can see what other people are doing and you can be like, oh, she only started a year ago. If she can do it, I can do it. And even if it takes me 2 years because I have a different situation than her, 2 years, come on, that's nothing, you know? And so it really is inspiring to see people. I just saw a post the other day of someone in the legal nurse consulting community that was so inspiring to me. It could have been discouraging to me. I could have said, oh, shoot, she's doing so much better than me. But what I said was, wow, you know, I can see that she only started 4 years ago, and that's amazing what she's been able to accomplish. And why not? Why not me?
I love it. I love it. And even just in months, like with the nurses who start the program, putting their testimonials in, I got my first case, I got my first client, he's sending me 2 cases, things like that they post frequently in the group. We share our wins, because that's another shift, is the winning, right? Shifting that mentality to take every obstacle as an opportunity and to win every day. And I remember telling, you know, I tell you guys, my kids, my family, we win. But that's massive, right? It's something so small, but when you start to find your wins every day, even in the smallest things, that's part of that transformation and that shift. And that's exactly what you're mentioning, is going from the, you know, being like, wow, someone already accomplished this kind of sucks, like have like maybe a poor pitiful me, you know, why am I not there yet kind of thing, versus the rooting them on and saying, I'm going to be there too, because you knowing that you can reach those goals, having that confidence. And then again, the mindset shift and awareness around that as well. There's a lot of power in all of that.
There's such an abundance of work to be had, you guys. I actually even have a podcast where I bring on other legal nurse consultants to share a story where they've helped an attorney, because I feel like attorneys just in general, as you may or may not have noticed, have a bit of a lack of education about what legal nurse consultants can do. And so I decided to just go ahead and help educate them about that, because, and you might think, well, you know, I'm bringing people on and I'm letting them share their website and they're my competition technically. But at the same time, I feel like, hey, if we as a community can just educate attorneys in general about what legal nurse consultants can do, then that rises all the tides, and tide rises all the boats. And so I'm happy to do that. And it's been really fun because I learned so much from it. But that's the difference between the abundance mentality and the scarcity mentality. And that's the kind of thing this program will bring you into, is that abundance mentality, where you can network with people because you want to be successful and not feel like the networking itself is actually, you know, somehow getting in your way of being.
Well, we're stronger together. And, you know, I don't believe in competition, because I'm very big on like, your ideal client is not my ideal client. We don't share ideal clients. Very different, whether we believe it or not. Our personalities and our traits and our specialties, our backgrounds differentiate all of us. And so I believe that networking is the strongest way for us to do this. You're doing a part of it on a podcast, which we promote inside of our VIP group. We just did. So we have like lots of things other nurses are doing too, that we really like to just cheer each other on and grow together. And just like you said, there's always something you can learn from someone else, no matter how big or small the business is, no matter how new they are to legal nursing or not. It's always nice to know that you have the people there you can ask questions to, those who are in different areas of specialties that you can just drop a quick question in, right? Anyone ever had a case on X? What did you do? And not have to like go find some expert for some small thing, but to have the tools and the people and the network. And then in conjunction with that, all the people with all the resources. I love it because I think it, I don't know everything. You don't know everything, but together as a part of this group and network, wow, how much more information, knowledge, right? And opportunity do we all have access to? So I love that you're still a participating member of the group. I love that you still share your wins. We love seeing, and you're such an inspiration to so many of the nurses coming in, because I think that some nurses think, wow, I can't have a big business. I talk about how big my business has gotten, and some think, yeah, well, you must be the only one. And I'm not. And many nurses can grow their business like this. It's just learning and understanding the dynamics and the operations behind it. And you're proof in the pudding that you're going to have a business bigger than mine. I am so thrilled to I love that. Elisa is a nurse practitioner, and her business is built full of nurse practitioners who are brilliant. And the way she set her business up is brilliant. And it's a matter of time before it does absolutely over the top explode. You're going to feel like it's raining attorneys. We talk about that in the mentorship. Yeah. We have our little joke, right? Where it's raining attorneys. Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. Just going to rain attorneys. That ripple effect is just going to overflow. I am so excited and happy you took time out of your busy day, Elisa, to come be with us and to share with the nurses inside of our group. Is there anything else you want to add before we go? Any last tip?
Yeah, I would just love to invite people to follow the podcast, because you can learn a lot by listening to other legal nurse consultants that are taking cases specifically in medical malpractice, is what sort of our niche is. We've found where we do best, and that's in medical malpractice. And so you find what works for you. But this podcast is medmalpodcast.com. And the people who are in the VIP group, they get a chance to come on the podcast twice. And I also generate audiograms and videograms with their logo on it. And I share their website, and then I allow them to take those audiograms and videograms and share them on LinkedIn and social media. And then we tag each other so that their audience sees it, and my audience sees it. And I have a lot of attorneys in my audience. I have like over 1,000 attorneys, I think, in my audience. So I tag them, and they see you as well. So it's a great opportunity, just a bonus for people who are in the mentorship, because I just think it's a great opportunity for people to step into their greatest self.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for doing that, guys. These are more perks, like being a part of our network. We have nurses who come through the program who give back and want to help other nurses grow their businesses too. So Elisa is one of them, just like she mentioned with her podcast. It's medmalpodcast.com, right?
Yeah.
Right, guys. So we'll make sure that we have that for you. But that's actually really just elite to those who join our mentorship. And so a lot of perks about being a part of our network, in addition to what we offer inside the mentorship, plus Elisa, plus other nurses who offer their wisdom and resources to give back as well. We really are a powerful network, and I love to see us growing the way we are. I love everything you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have you, and I'm excited to send you more larger trophies, bigger awards, bigger money amounts.
Trophy.
Huh?
You owe me a trophy.
I do owe you a trophy. I owe you a big trophy. So I love this. I'm so excited. We send trophies out every time our nurses hit their milestones. Elisa's moving on up. So we're excited to send that out as well. I love it, Elisa. Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to let you get back to your Thursday evening. It's 5:30 here, and all my littles are about to run in. You guys have any questions, pop them in the chat below. Elisa, thank you so much again, and we'll chat soon.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.